Look at your life right now. Not the version you describe to other people. Not the highlight reel. The actual, unfiltered reality of your daily existence. The state of your living space. The state of your schedule. The state of your mind at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday evening when the day is over and you are trying to remember what you actually accomplished. Is it organized? Is it intentional? Does it feel like a life that is being built deliberately and with clear direction? Or does it feel like something that is just happening to you, one chaotic day after another, with no real thread connecting where you are now to where you want to be? If you are honest, if you are genuinely, uncomfortably honest, most people will admit that their life is significantly less organized than they would like it to be. That there is a gap, sometimes a very large gap, between the life they are living and the life they are capable of living. Today we are going to close that gap, not with a list of productivity hacks, not with a complicated system that requires an hour of maintenance every morning just to keep it running, not with the kind of advice that looks perfect in a YouTube video and falls apart the moment it meets the actual complexity of your life. We are going to talk about the deep principles of organization, the ones that change not just what you do, but how you see. The ones that, once understood, make everything else simpler, clearer, and more within your control. Because here's what most people get wrong about organization. They think it is about managing time. It is not. Time cannot be managed. There are 24 hours in a day, and no system, no app, no morning routine will ever give you a 25th. Time is fixed. What is not fixed is what you do with it, and more importantly, how clearly you understand what it is worth spending on. Organization is not about managing time. It is about managing attention and energy and intention. It is about knowing, with clarity and conviction, what matters most, and then structuring your life so that what matters most gets your best hours, your clearest thinking, and your most committed effort. Everything else follows from that. So let us begin there, with the most fundamental question of all. What actually matters to you? Not what should matter, not what other people say matters, not the values you would list if someone asked you at a dinner party. But what, when you look at how you actually spend your time, your money, your emotional energy, turns out to matter in practice? Because there are two sets of values in every human life: the stated values and the revealed values. The stated values are what you say is important. The revealed values are what your behavior demonstrates is important. For many people, there is a painful gap between these two sets. They say that their health matters, and they consistently deprioritize sleep, exercise, and nutrition. They say that their relationships matter, and they consistently give other people the leftover time after everything else is done. They say that their growth matters, and they consistently choose passive consumption over active learning. The first step of organizing your life is to bring these two sets of values into alignment, to look honestly at the gap and decide, which is the lie? Are my stated values the lie? Am I actually more interested in comfort and convenience than I am in the things I claim to care about? Or are my revealed values the lie? Am I living out of habit and inertia, doing things that do not actually reflect who I want to be? This is not a comfortable process, but it is a necessary one, because you cannot organize a life around values you have not clearly identified. You cannot build toward a destination you have not chosen. You cannot make meaningful progress in a direction you have not decided to go. Sit with this question. Give it real time. Write your answers down. What are the 5 things that, if they were genuinely thriving in your life, would make everything else feel worth it? Your health, your closest relationships, your work and creative life, your financial security, your inner life, your sense of meaning, your spiritual or philosophical grounding, your growth and learning. Choose. Rank them, at least roughly. Know what is most important to you so that when the inevitable moment of conflict arises, when you have to choose between two good things, when time and energy are limited and something has to be sacrificed, You know instantly, from a place of clarity, what gets protected and what gets let go. That clarity is the foundation of an organized life. Now let us talk about the structure that holds that clarity in place. The single most important structural principle of an organized life is this: design your default. Most people live by reaction. They respond to whatever arrives: the notification, the request, the opportunity, the crisis, the whim of the moment. Their day takes whatever shape circumstances give it, and at the end of that day, they are often exhausted and have not moved meaningfully toward anything they actually care about. The organized person designs their default, by which I mean they decide in advance, deliberately and with intention, what their ordinary day looks like. Not the exceptional day, not the ideal day that requires perfect conditions, but the regular, unremarkable Tuesday lived well. What time do you wake up? What happens in the first hour of your day, before the phone, before the news, before the demands of others have a chance to set the agenda? What kind of work do you do in the morning hours when your mind is fresh? What does your midday look like? How do you protect your most important work from the constant stream of interruptions that will arrive if you do not actively defend against them? What does your evening routine look like? The ritual that closes the day and prepares you for recovery and the next day's clarity. These are not small questions. They are the architecture of your daily life. And most people have never consciously designed that architecture. They have simply accepted the default that habit and circumstance created for them. The power of designing your default is this: you make the decision once, in a moment of clear thinking, and then the structure does the work for you on every subsequent day. You do not have to decide every morning whether to exercise. You have already decided. It is in the structure. You do not have to decide every evening whether to spend an hour reading or an hour scrolling. You have already decided. The structure makes the right choice the path of least resistance. This is the secret of sustainable organization. Not willpower. Willpower is a finite resource that depletes with use. Structure, systems, defaults that have been deliberately designed to produce the life you want, automatically, without requiring a fresh decision every time. Now let us go deeper into the specific areas of life that most need organizing and the specific principles that make the biggest difference in each. Let us start with physical space, your environment. Your environment is not neutral. It is not simply a backdrop against which your life takes place. It is an active force that shapes your behavior, your thinking, your mood, and your effectiveness in ways that are profound and largely unconscious. The research on this is clear and consistent. Cluttered, disorganized environments increase stress, reduce the ability to focus, undermine decision-making, and contribute to a persistent background feeling of being overwhelmed. Clean, organized, intentionally designed environments do the opposite. They reduce cognitive load, the mental energy you spend simply processing your surroundings, and free that energy for the things that actually matter. Think about how you feel in a cluttered room versus a clean one. Think about how you feel when you sit down to work at a desk covered in papers, half-finished projects, and unresolved items versus a clear surface with only what you need for the task at hand. The difference is not trivial. It is significant, and it compounds over thousands of hours of your life. The principle of organizing your physical space is simple. Everything you own should have a place, and when it is not in use, it should be in its place. Every item that does not have a designated home creates a small but persistent claim on your attention, a tiny, unresolved question that your brain has to hold open indefinitely. Go through your physical environment with an honest eye. Not to create a magazine-perfect space, that is not the goal. The goal is functionality and clarity. Remove what you do not use. Find homes for what you do. Create systems that are simple enough that maintaining them takes seconds, not minutes. A clear environment is a clear mind, and a clear mind is the beginning of everything else. Now let us talk about time, specifically how to structure your time so that your most important work actually gets done. There is a principle that comes from economics but applies perfectly to life. The Pareto principle. The observation that roughly 80% of results come from roughly 20% of efforts. That in any area of activity, a small number of actions produce the vast majority of the value. In your life, this means that there are a small number of activities, probably 2 or 3, that if done consistently and well, would produce most of the results you actually care about, most of the career progress, most of the relationship depth, most of the health and fitness gains, most of the financial security. And there are many, many activities that feel busy and important and urgent, but that contribute very little to the outcomes that actually matter. The organized life is built on the ruthless identification and protection of that vital 20%. Ask yourself, in each area of life that matters to me, what is the one thing, the single most important activity that would move the needle most if I did it consistently? What is the thing that I know I should be doing, that I keep not doing because other things keep getting in the way? That thing needs to be scheduled, not added to a to-do list. To-do lists are where important things go to be perpetually deferred. Scheduled. Put in your calendar as an appointment with yourself, as non-negotiable as a meeting with your most important client or your child's school performance. Protected from the inevitable encroachment of lesser priorities. The people who consistently accomplish remarkable things are not smarter than you. They are not more talented than you. In most cases, they do not work more hours than you. What they do is protect, with fierce and consistent discipline, the time they spend on their most important work. They say no, graciously but firmly, to the infinite stream of requests, obligations, and distractions that would fill every available hour if allowed to. And they say yes, deliberately and without guilt, to the work that actually moves their life forward. This is the time management principle that actually works. Not doing more, but doing less, better. Not filling every hour with activity, but identifying the activities that matter most and giving them your best time, your best energy, and your best attention. Now let us talk about the area of organization that most people neglect most completely. The organization of your mind. You can have a clean desk and a well-structured schedule and a beautifully designed daily routine and still feel chaotic, overwhelmed, and scattered if your mind is disorganized. If it is full of unprocessed worries, unresolved decisions, unfinished mental loops that keep running in the background, consuming energy and attention even when you are not consciously thinking about them. The mind is not designed to hold information. It is designed to process information. And when you try to use your mind as a storage system, keeping track of everything you need to do, everything you are worried about, everything you have not yet decided, you overload it. You reduce its capacity for the thing it does best: clear, focused, creative thinking. The solution is to get things out of your head and into a trusted system. This is not a new idea. It is the core insight behind every productivity methodology, from David Allen's Getting Things Done to the simplest paper notebook. When a thought arrives, a task you need to do, a worry you need to address, a decision you need to make, capture it immediately in a place you trust so that your mind can release it. This sounds simple. It is simple. And it is transformative. Because the moment you stop trying to remember everything and start trusting a system to hold it for you, your mind becomes clearer. The background noise quiets. The persistent, low-level anxiety of things you might be forgetting gradually subsides. And in that quiet, something becomes possible that was not possible before. Genuine, deep, focused thinking. Write things down. Keep a single, trusted place for your commitments and your open questions. Review it regularly, not obsessively, but consistently. Keep it current, and trust it enough to let your mind stop trying to hold everything at once. The organized mind is not an empty mind. It is a mind that is clear of clutter, free to engage fully with whatever is actually in front of it, rather than half present while simultaneously running maintenance on 100 open loops. Now I want to talk about something that most conversations about life organization skip entirely: the organization of your energy. You are not a machine. You do not perform at a consistent level throughout the day. Your energy, physical, mental, emotional, fluctuates. It follows rhythms. It is renewable through rest and depleted through use. And the person who ignores these rhythms, who tries to push through exhaustion, who treats rest as wasted time, who schedules their most demanding work in their lowest energy periods, is working against themselves. The science of human performance is clear on this. We have natural periods of higher cognitive function, typically in the first few hours after waking for most people, and natural periods of lower function. We have ultradian rhythms, cycles of roughly 90 minutes during which our focus and energy gradually rise and then fall. We perform better after movement than after sitting still. We perform better after genuine rest than after fitful, incomplete recovery. The organized life works with these rhythms rather than against them. It schedules the most important creative and cognitive work during peak energy periods. It schedules routine, low-demand tasks during energy troughs. It builds in genuine rest, not passive scrolling, which is not rest, but actual recovery, sleep, movement, time in nature, genuine social connection, activities that restore rather than deplete. And it takes sleep seriously. This one deserves to be said directly without euphemism. Chronic sleep deprivation is one of the most widespread and most completely unnecessary sources of diminished performance, poor decision-making, emotional volatility, and physical illness in the modern world. Nothing you do during the hours you save by sleeping less will compensate for the degradation of function that insufficient sleep produces. Protect your sleep, not as a luxury, as the foundation of everything else. Now let us bring all of this together with one final principle, the principle that ties everything else in this conversation into a single, sustainable practice. The principle is this: review and adjust, consistently and honestly. No system works perfectly from day one. No design for your ideal life survives its first contact with reality completely intact. Life is not static. Your circumstances change. Your priorities shift. The strategies that worked 6 months ago may need to be updated for who you are and what you are facing now. The organized life is not a fixed structure. It is a living practice. It requires regular review, ideally weekly, at minimum monthly, in which you step back from the day-to-day and ask, is this working? Am I moving toward the things that matter most? Where is the gap between intention and reality? What needs to change? This review is not a performance review. It is not an opportunity to judge yourself harshly for falling short. It is a calibration, a gentle, honest, forward-looking assessment of what is working and what needs adjusting. The person who never steps back to review is the person who can work very hard in a very organized way and still end up somewhere they did not want to go, because they were executing efficiently on a plan that was pointing in the wrong direction and never stopped long enough to check. Step back, look at the whole picture, ask the hard questions, adjust, and then return to the work with renewed clarity. There is a phrase I want to leave you with. It is simple, and it contains everything. A place for everything, and everything in its place. It sounds like it is about physical objects, and on one level, it is. But take it more broadly: a place, a time, a priority, a designated role, for everything that matters in your life. And everything, your energy, your attention, your best hours, your deepest commitment, in its place. Your health in its place. Not squeezed into the margins of a life that has no room for it, but given the time and attention it requires and deserves. Your most important relationships in their place, not receiving only your leftover energy after everything else has been given to work and obligations and distraction, but genuinely prioritized, genuinely protected, genuinely invested in. Your most important work in its place, in the best hours of your day, with your clearest mind, defended from the endless stream of lesser demands that would consume it if you let them. Your rest in its place, not earned after everything else is done, because everything else is never done, but scheduled, protected, honored as the foundation it actually is. And you, in your place, at the center of your own life. Not reactive, not overwhelmed, not perpetually behind, but thoughtful, intentional, clear about what matters, and consistently making choices that reflect that clarity. This is what an organized life looks like. Not perfect, not effortless, not free from difficulty or uncertainty, or the inevitable complications that come with being human in a complex world, but directed, intentional, built rather than just happened. The gap between the life you are living and the life you are capable of living is not a matter of talent or luck or circumstance. It is a matter of organization, of clarity, of the decision made once and renewed daily to be the architect of your own existence rather than its passenger. You have everything you need to begin. The only question is whether you will. Start today, not with a perfect system, not with the ideal conditions. Start with one area of your life that is most in need of organization and bring one clear, specific, actionable change to it this week. One change, sustained, built upon. That is how an organized life is built, not in a single dramatic overhaul, but in the accumulation of deliberate choices made consistently over time. Your life is waiting to be organized, to be shaped, to be made deliberately and fully and with everything you have into something that is genuinely, unmistakably yours. Begin.